Hi, you guys, and welcome back to another episode of a Tailor-Made Life podcast, where every conversation is one step closer to designing the life that God has for you. I am your host, Taylor Renee, and as always, I'm so excited to have you back on this journey with me. Let's just get right into it because I wanted to. I had a few different ideas about what this episode was going to be about, but I decided on doing a part 2 of I think it was our 18th episode, maybe, of acceptance. So accepting what it is that's kind of happening in your life, right? Coming into agreement, into alignment with the things that God has placed before you. And I think it's a subject, it's a topic that people so often either ignore or they try to fight against it, or they just handle it differently from everybody else. And it's a concept that is rarely mastered on the first try. So I figured we would just kind of dive back into it, right? And so it's deeper than just acceptance. I think there's a tension there, and that tension is believing that God has placed you in a specific place, right? Such as a time as this one that is priming you and prepping you for what He has ultimately called you to do, right? I think that's a strong belief to have that I do share, right? But there's a tussle, right? Because I do trust Him, but I don't necessarily like where He's placed me. I said where He's placed me, but I don't like all of the things. I don't like the in-between moments, right? I like the big stuff. I like when things happen that are good, and that make sense or that are justifiable. But the things that happen in between that, right? The time when you ask for something and it seems like He's giving you the opposite, right? You ask Him for increase and He gives you decrease, right? You ask Him for patience and He puts a whole list of things in front of you that make it damn near impossible for you to be patient with, right? Those are the things that bother me, and I think that's a real feeling, right? And oftentimes we get stuck right in that in-between moment, right in the cracks and the crevices where our mind and where we get stuck. It's so simple to think that acceptance is just accepting the circumstances, but sometimes acceptance is accepting God's leadership over your life, right? His lordship over your life when it doesn't align with your preferences. And that could easily translate to your job, right? Your place of work, your coworkers, the circumstances, the things that you've prayed for as far as working that don't come, right? And so having to accept the things that you don't want, accept what's actually happening to you despite whether or not it goes along with what you thought in your head. And there's the concept of acceptance versus agreement. Now, you can accept where you are without agreeing that this is the final destination, right? So I can accept that right now I am in this position, whether it be good or bad, whether it be good some days and bad other days. I can accept that this is where I am currently right now. But I will not agree with the term that this is the end goal. Think that acceptance means saying that, this is great. And in reality, it's saying that this is true. There's so many times I have conversations with my friends and just, whoever, and they're like, they don't like where they are in their life, right? And they operate and they live and they think as if this is going to be the end, that this is all they have to look forward to. That is not okay. Now, you can accept that right now this is happening to you, but I refuse to operate. I refuse to think that in 10 years, I'm going to be in the exact same spot that I'm in right now. Absolutely not. I'm not accepting that. I'm not going to agree to this being the end all be all, right? And so I think when I come to that conclusion, it gives me hope. It gives me hope to foresee what's coming next, because I've already chosen to believe that I'm going to accept that this is true. This right now, this feeling, this emotion, this work, this position is true. It is happening right now. But will it be happening in 10 years? Not the same way. No. It can't be. Now, if God, you just learning this really big lesson, that maybe he will keep you in the same place for 2 years. It's all up to him ultimately. But my point in saying that is that acceptance and agreement is different. Accepting it, but not agreeing that this is all that is coming for your life. This is all that God has for you. You may not love this current season in your life. You may not have chosen it, and you definitely don't understand it. However, fighting reality doesn't necessarily change the reality of the situation. So you fighting against it doesn't change the fact that you're currently in it. So sometimes you fight with the current. You fight with it. Don't necessarily fight against it. Learn what you need to learn from it. Get what you need to get. Understand, be aware, be cognizant of what God is telling you in this moment, in this season. Even when you don't understand, even when you pray for something and you get the opposite, right? Understand that there's a lesson in there. There is something that he's wanting to get through to you. And so the faster you accept that this is true, that these circumstances are true, the faster that you can then receive the lesson that is coming. The lesson that is here, the lesson that is supposed to be of this season, the fruit that you're supposed to bear due to this season, right? And so the thing that comes with that, and that's the hardest part to let go, is grieving the loss, grieving the idea, the concept, the thing that you had construed in your head, grieving the fact that that may not come true, that it may not look like what you thought it looked like. That is a grieving process that we must let go. That is an idol that we must let fall. Because I had a life, I've had many of lives, according to me, that I've conjured up in my head, and each one of them I've had to let go, one by one by one. So, that's a huge thing to let go, and people don't give it as much credit as they should, because then they're left in a moment of comparison, right? You get the blessing, but then you're constantly comparing it to what you thought that you were supposed to get. No. You're going to steal yourself. You're going to rob yourself of joy. You're going to rob yourself of what, was intended for that season if you're constantly comparing. It's the death of the future that we imagined, right? I thought that, I'd be touring right now as thought I'd probably be married. I wanted to have kids at 26, right? I thought I'd be married. I thought, I'd be somewhere touring. Once I graduated college, I thought I'd be somewhere in Nashville. And so the grief comes from comparing your reality now to your expectations, right? And what happens is God is saying, I know this isn't what you expected, right? I know this is not what you anticipated, but I need you here right now. In order for you to get the blessing that you prayed for, I need you right here in this moment, in this season. There's something in you that needs to be pruned. There's something in you that needs to be developed. And I need you here right now. Right? So I thank God and his character, thinking in that way, knowing, being the ultimate master, the ultimate seer, right? So that he knows what's good for us versus what's not. And sometimes our expectations and our thoughts and our ideas are so bad for us, we don't even know. It's like you don't even know what would have happened if you did the thing that you wanted to do, right? I think another good point in this time that I'm kind of developing, right, is acceptance creates a presence, right? Accepting where I am allows me to be present in it. Accepting it allows me to bask in what is actually happening, being aware, journaling it, right? And accepting and working through it in real time. I know for myself, anyways, I spend a lot of time mentally thinking about living somewhere else, right? So I'll be here, but I'll be thinking about something totally different, right? I'm thinking about tomorrow, today. I'm thinking about next week, right now, right? And so, we're always waiting or planning or preparing or wishing, right? And acceptance forces you to accept the present. It forces you to bask in what's happening right now. So stop asking, how do I get out of this? And start asking, like, God, what are you trying to teach me here? Like, what is this? Every time something happens, I just got my car towed last night, and I was standing there. I was so upset, so sad, so everything. And I'm like, God, what is this? Like, what are you trying to teach me here? What is this for? You know, what am I going through this for? Right? And so when you're accepting of what's happening right now, then it forces you, because I could have brushed that off, right? Like, I could have brushed it off. I could have disassociated. I could have, numbed the pain or whatever the case is. Like, I really didn't want to, right? But instead of that, I'm like, okay, God, let me accept that this is happening. I'm standing on the side of the street. I'm on the corner. Like, I'm watch the tow truck run off with my car. And I'm like, I can't believe that this is happening right now, but it's happening, right? Like, I'm accepting that my car just got towed. And it's something as small as, an inconvenience, right? But again, it's taking the time to ask God, what is it? Is it my dependency? Right? Do I need to lean on you more? Right? What are you trying to prune in me? What are you trying to get from me? The thing that makes this so uncomfortable, right, is because our pride is oftentimes hidden in the resistance. Like, it's hidden in our resistance of acceptance, right? Because we're too prideful to accept. We think, oh, I'm not accepting this. I have bigger plans for my life. I know what I'm supposed to be doing, da 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 da. And so we resist the acceptance because we're too prideful. Our ego is too big. Right? Oh no, that can't happen to me. Oh no, this isn't happening to me. I don't operate like that. I don't do stuff like this. I'm guilty of it too, don't get me wrong. I'm quick to say, oh, what I'm not going to do, oh, what I'm not standing for, oh, could never be, I'm quick for all of that. But accepting the reality when it happens to you, that's going to be your best bet. If I were writing my story, right, I probably wouldn't do it like this. But acceptance breeds humility, because it's knowing that I'm not writing my story. As much as we think we are, we kind of aren't writing our story. God is writing the story. We are just the characters in it. And so, yeah, don't resist the acceptance because your pride and your ego is too big. Because then you're going to miss it. You're going to miss all the lessons. So, I think being in an acceptance stage, being in this moment, I want to be cognizant of the lessons, and I want to actually work toward them. That's just me, though. Like, I don't want to sit dormant while I'm in this acceptance mode, right? Like, acceptance doesn't mean that you're being passive. It doesn't mean that you don't do anything. It doesn't mean that, I'm just going to sit here and let this happen to me. No. Right? You can accept something, right? Accept that this is happening. Accept that this is going on. Accept that this season is in your life. But you could also be learning new skills, right? You could also be getting closer to God. You could also be building new relationships. There are things that are meant for you to be doing right now in this season besides just accepting it. You're not going to accept it and lay down and take it, right? Acceptance is applying yourself, accepting it, but moving forward. I'm not going to disassociate from it, but I'm also not going to agree that this is it for me. I'm not going to accept it for myself 10 years from now. No. And so, yeah, I think it's learning new skills, it's praying for change, it's working towards your goals while simultaneously saying, if nothing changes tomorrow, I'm still going to be okay. And that's what I'm doing. Like, that's literally what I'm doing. It's like I'm applying for new things, or not new jobs, but like I'm applying for, I'm trying to get more involved in community, trying to find like some type of cohort or some type of music business community, or just I'm still applying myself while saying, hey, if nothing changes, if none of those things that I applied for, if none of those communities accept me, if none of those opportunities, internships, whatever the case is, if none of those things accept me, and I'm still in the same place that I'm in right now, tomorrow, nothing changes by tomorrow, I'm still going to be okay. Doesn't mean that I'm going to stop. Doesn't mean I'm going to stop applying. Doesn't mean I'm going to stop learning, trying to be better. Doesn't mean I'm going to stop any of that. And so, yeah, ultimately, the things that we pray for, I was just telling my friend this today, the things that we pray for, things that I'm going to have, the things that I'm believing God for is not going to come without a testimony. It is not going to come without its ebbs and its flows. It is not going to come without a story attached to it, a valley that I had to go through, a season of waiting and acceptance, a season of plowing and mowing, a season of sowing, a season, like, it's not going to come without a testimony. It's not going to come without a detour, right? And so, yeah, I think it's good to question whether or not the thing that you've been fighting against the most is the thing that God wants you to experience the most. You know, the thing that you are fighting against, the thing that you just don't want to go through is the thing that he wants you to go through. It's what he wants you to do. So, yeah, that's all I have for you guys right now. You know, we're here and we're ready to go. We're getting fired up. I think, let me know if you guys want more work-related content versus more like life-related content. That makes sense. I know I like to merge both of them because a lot of the topics do intertwine, but yeah, let me know what you guys prefer more. Yeah, that's all I have for you guys. Thank you for watching as always, and till next time, bye.